But welcome. I am going to be talking. There we go. Cool. I am talking about spatial and temporal trends in strandings of green sea turtles in Northeast Florida. Before we get started, I'd like to thank my collaborators and co-authors with this project. Without them, this wouldn't have been possible. So Jessica Beanshaw from Flagler College, Devin Rollins-Ramey from the Whitney Lab, and Catherine B. Eastman from the Whitney Lab as well. They were instrumental in getting this project off the ground and happening. So, when talking about the Sea Turtle Hospital at University of Florida's Whitney Lab for Marine Biosciences. It's a mouthful, so it'll just be the Sea Turtle Hospital from now on. But the hospital opened in October of 2015, and I've been treating patients since then. They specialize in fibropapillomatosis, which is this beautiful disease right here. This is a herpes virus that is found in all types of sea turtles. However, it affects green sea turtles the most and the harshest by creating these tumors on their soft tissue. The tumors have also been found on their carapace and plastron as well as internal tumors, but we will talk about those later. So, with specializing in fibropapillomatosis, we see lots of really, really sad turtles, so please keep that in mind when going through this presentation. But where does research take place? Well, it takes place in St. Augustine, Florida. Those of you who don't know, it is in Northeast Florida, right up here. And all our turtles came from right around here. This habitat is not known for the luscious green seabeds that the other side of the state of Florida is known for. We have lots of mangroves and salt marshes in our area, so it's very brackish water. Sea turtles are not normally seen eating seagrass. It is very heavily reliant on the algae that they are feeding from. So, what turtles are we seeing here? As stated before, we are seeing juvenile sea turtles. These sea turtles range in sizes from 25.5 centimeters to 64.7 centimeters straight carapace length. So what that means is measuring from the top notch here on their shell down to the very bottom tip of their shell. That is straight carapace length with a tape measure. So we are getting the curve as well. So we saw 538 sea turtles from the beginning of from the start of the hospital in 2015 to the end of 2022. 509 of them are green sea turtles, with 25 of them being loggerheads, and 4 turtles did not have stranding locations or much other information, just their sighting name. And you can see this data right here is very, very messy, so we're going to get into how we clean that data up very thoroughly coming up soon. But first, we wanted to see where these FP patients are coming from and just where all our patients are coming from. So the red dots here are FP patients, whereas the blue dots are patients that came in without FP. 40% of the hospital patients that came into the hospital had FP, the other 60 did not. So when I say a turtle is coming into the hospital, that just means that the turtle is coming in for a pit stop, potentially, or staying long term. It is quite common that we do transfer out turtles. This is because they might not have FP, and we don't want to potentially cross-contaminate healthy turtles with non-healthy turtles. So, the fun stuff comes when we came up with finding an emerging hotspot analysis of where these turtles are coming from. To do this, we had to first create a space-time cube in ArcGIS. So, for creating a space-time cube, right down here, you can see a map. And then this way, and this way, on the map are certain lengths of measurement by how far on the map you want to measure. So mine were 500 by 500, and then going up, we have the amount of time each box is. So you can think of this as like a stack of dice. Each dice is 6 months with covering 500 meters around. So we did that. Then we come up with this analysis. This analysis allows us to see where hotspots are coming from, where new hotspots are coming from, where consecutive and persistent hotspots are coming from, as well as seen on these maps. So we can see lots of clusters right up here with new hotspots emerging, persistent hotspots emerging, intensifying, and intensifying sporadic hotspots as well. With all of these, it's not necessarily surprising because when we take a closer look, the turtles are coming from where the people are from, which makes sense because a sea turtle can't walk and check itself into a hospital. So looking in, zoomed in, this is right in St. Augustine. See, lots of turtles are coming from here. Well, that's because it's all around from where people are coming from. So when we initially set out on this project of finding, oh, is FP going north? Is it going? No, not really, because FP is found where the humans are found. So we took a step further and went into Python analysis. Python is a coding language that allows us to analyze data a lot very easily. So we found when the turtles were coming in by year and by month. So we were able to see that March, February, and October are the busiest months of the year for the Sea Turtle Hospital and when patients are coming in. Also, like I said before, this data, very messy. There were 11 different ways to spell St. Johns County. I didn't know that before looking at this data. However, so we want to know why were turtles coming in. So we took the issue column on the spreadsheet and turned it into a long paragraph. And then from that long paragraph, we are able to do word counts on how many times words came up in the word count. So we could see that debilitated and FP are the top 2 reasons why turtles are coming into the hospital. However, followed by things like cold, boat, normally paired with cold stun and boat strike. There were 205 different reasons on why sea turtles were coming into the hospital. These word counts did include some words like the, and, in, but those words were minimalized as much as possible. So then we want to know, is FP increasing over time? Not really. So the proportion of patients coming in pretty much stayed right around 40% with dips in 2019 and 2020, mainly because we were seeing less sea turtles coming in because of COVID and less people were out on the water. So what's happening? What's happening with these turtles coming in? So here we have a map of all the release locations of sea turtles from our hospital. These locations, when we release sea turtles, they are released as close to their original stranding location as possible in coordinates with FWC laws. We also have this nice graph of the outcomes of our patients. As I said before, lots of transfers. This is because FP can potentially be shed through the water columns, and we don't want turtles that aren't suffering from FP to pick that up when they already most likely have enough going on as it is coming in with potential entanglements, hooks, cold stuns, anything like that. There is a large number of euthanizations and died in care. This is because, like I said, treating really, really sad patients. Also, with FP, it is a potential that they are coming in with internal tumors. So how we check for those is we go through a CT scan, just like you and I would go into a CT scan, and look and see. If we find internal tumors, it is sadly an immediate euthanization because there's absolutely no way to treat those tumors yet. Those tumors can be found on kidneys, bones, and even in the brain. However, we do have some happy news. As of the end of 2022, we had released 66 patients. This means that 25% of the patients that were not transferred and survived were released, which doesn't seem like a great amount, but it's actually not horrible when you consider what our patients are dealing with. So why do we care? Well, so the CERF Hospital is the only one in Northeast Florida. This is the first time that the stranding data from this place had been analyzed and looked at in great depth. This allows for the hospital to know exactly where these sea turtles are coming from and how they can potentially help with better signage, which is in fact the next step of our project. And I am happy to say that as of 2023, that was not included in this analysis because it's not over yet. We have released 10 more patients, including number 76, right there. Those were released the Friday before. Thank you guys so much for listening and hope you enjoy.